guys, this is not a different what if, but this is what if Decky was a guard. I accidentally deleted the picture that I was using. I could not find it, so I just went with the first one I seen. After I switched up a random Decky with a gun, I wasn't really done, but yeah. So, I left off with Stain and Deku in the middle facing off, as Stain would dodge Deku's bullets, as he would swing to cut him. Deku would take out his chains, gun to stab Stain, but Stain would dodge it, jumping back, landing on his feet, taking his blades in both hands, and he dashes back at Deku. As Deku would shoot out his chains, as Stain would cut them, he would hit a couple of them as he sees part of his blade would melt and make them dull. So he'd throw them at Deku, which Deku would dodge, as he would pull out two more. As he dodges them, coming at Deku, going to cut him in the eyes, as Deku would pull out his gun, about to shoot him in the head. But Stain would dodge it, throwing a kick to Deku, but Deku would block. As Deku would throw all of his chains that Stain just dodged back at him, as Stain would take his blades and knock them away, melting them and throwing them at Deku. But Deku would catch them this time, throwing them to the ground. As Stain says, "You're pretty strong for a teenager. It's too bad that you're just another wannabe All Might hero, even though you're fake." Dashes back in, pulling out a long blade from his back, a longer one, not just a knife. As the same thing happens with him dodging Deku's chains, but whenever he gets close to Deku, Deku would make a wall of his chains, which you about run to, but you jump over them, coming behind Deku. But whenever he does this, Deku gives back the kick that he threw at him. As he would, Stain would block it, and he'd be pushed back. Deku would run at him, taking his chains with him, and he'd shoot at Stain. He would dodge, throw two knives at Deku, but the knives would melt instantly, since Deku heated up his chains. As he would throw his chains directly at Stain, throwing him back, slashing his chest. Stain would spin after this, cutting Deku in the shoulder, from like his chest to his shoulder. But Deku dashed towards him, putting all of his chains together and throwing them at him, smashing into him, burning him. Stain would get up even though he's clearly hurt, dash towards Deku, and he'd swing his blade, but Deku would block it. But whenever he does this, he would melt through the blade, which would send the blade part that he melted off of it, would send at him, which he would block with his hand, stabbing straight into it. And Stain would take this to try to stab him. But as this happens, Ida would come around the corner, kicking him in the chest, which would end up doing the damage of breaking Stain's ribs completely. As heroes would come around the corner, Endeavor and all that, they would have picked up Stain and all that, as a Nomu with wings would fly by. I would say picking up Ida this time, because if it was Deku, he'd easily take him down. And Stain would jump over there, stabbing. Wait, no, it would pick up Deku as Deku is tired and he'll slash. A stain kills it and gives the same speech, scaring all the heroes and make them stop moving with his bloodlust. As this happened, Stain would die on the spot, and Deku and Ida would be sent to the hospital. Deku's wounds are still bad, or his wounds weren't that bad. I think Ida's was worse and he was in the hospital, but this time Deku went in 1-on-1 and Stain did stab him, or cut him and stab him and all that a couple times. So he'd be in the hospital for a while. As police officers would come and explain to Deku what's gonna happen, and that they're gonna say that Endeavor's the one that took down Stain, since there are burn marks on Stain. And people can, and he was the hero that came over. And he was over his watch, so yeah. And so, Deku would heal up, so would Ida. And then if they go back to school, they will be informed that they're having tests. Written tests. All Might has a personal test that he's going to make them do, a race, and a test against, they don't know it's against heroes, but it's similar to the entrance exam area. And so they would do this. Everything would go the same until the race. Since the tape dude got first in the race, I think. And I would say Deku could move faster than him by flinging himself through the air like a blade. Levi over here, Attack on Titans. Pretty much, I would say Deku would beat him. And so Deku would be titled first in the race, Tape Dude second, and whoever was third, I don't know. But this one, they will be informed that they're going up against the teachers, but they will be weighted down by like 1/3 of their weight, on both sides of their arms and all that. And that's where they get informed that Deku and Bakugo are versus All Might, and he would have 2/3 of his weight on him. But I don't think that's much, because he's All Might 100%. I wouldn't think that would weigh much to him. Plus, I think he can already do that maybe he probably is strong enough to do that without his quirk, physically, to lift up his own self. But I guess not, because his quirk does make him buff again, but, before that he was actually buff. And so, yeah, all the matches are the same. If you guys don't remember the matches, do add. But it'll be time for Bakugo and Deku, as they would go through the same thing where Bakugo wants to beat him by himself, but he figures out that he can't do that, as he'd be shot to the ground. Deku would have launched himself, grabbing him and throwing himself in the air. As All Might says, "You can't get away, heroes," doing a reverse Detroit smash, or was it a Texas smash? I don't know. Back to slam them in the side. But as All Might's weights that he has on his arms would spread out chains, linking it to Deku's leg, swinging him around All Might. And he'll attach himself to the buildings, flinging himself downwards, swinging, almost touching the ground, launching himself fast as he can. As he would go straight through a window, landing with Bakugo. As they would figure out that they needed strategy. Bakugo would be distraction, and Deku would have to deliver the final blow. And so the same thing with Bakugo throwing those massive explosions would happen, and he's launching off one of his gauntlets as All Might would dodge it, run into Deku, as Deku would have one of Bakugo's gauntlets, and he would launch it at All Might, and he would keep All Might down by wrapping around his arms, keeping his arms to the ground. As All Might does this, he would start pulling, as Deku's chains would melt through the metal, as All Might would feel the burn against them, as he would stop, and Deku would say that if you continue, you're gonna burn your arms off, so do you surrender? All Might says you're too cocky, as he throws a kick with one form, even though he doesn't really do that. This would have enough force to break the chains, as Deku would be surprised. All Might would throw 100% smash, as Deku would put up a wall. It would smash against the chains, moving them and denting them, but ultimately the blast would be bounced off pretty much, or pretty much cancelled, as Deku would have told Bakugo that we just need to escape. All Might can take too much of a hit. It's pretty much unfair, as All Might would throw more smashes, as Deku's chains are about to break, as you hear crackling of them, as the last smash would come, as you see Bakugo be launched into the air like a catapult, as this would distract All Might, as you would see chains burst out everywhere, turning into blue flames, as it would wrap around All Might, or like make a hut around All Might, as Deku would launch them at All Might all at once, and this would smack All Might and burn him, and he would be launched backwards, as the buildings around Deku would be burning and melting, as he would throw these through the buildings, cutting them to pieces, until Bakugo would grab Deku as though and he would explode off, as flames would turn back to normal, as he would fling them farther, as he would pass out. Bakugo would slow them down with explosions, and he would land outside the gate, with All Might getting back up, seeing them already go through the gate. And so they would pass by getting away, and so it would be time for them they would be told about the camp, and whoever didn't pass the written part or the other parts are not allowed, or they are to do studying instead of combat and all that, as they would get there, but they would stop before they get there, as the Pussycats would come out and drop the area, or drop them off the mountain pretty much. As they would land, they are told to go through the forest, as Deku would know that he needs to be careful to not hit too many trees, since he would burn them all, and so they would run through. It would go about the same, but Deku's quirk, you can use a lot more on these, beasts, the earth beasts, and he would pretty much snap them to pieces with his chains. As Sarah would Zero, you know, the tape dude would see him, like, wrap them around them from the back and pull on them as they would snap. As he would try this, but he doesn't, since him pulling them are his own strength instead of Deku being able to control them, how he does, he would pretty much tape them onto each other, just like you normally do, but in a way like how Deku does it, where when they pull, they would break each other. They will get there about the same time as they're supposed to. Everything goes the same, as they're all told to do endurance training. And so Deku's training is to use his blue flames chains. As he says, you're sure there are a lot of forces, but as he would look, they would see a whole mountain. You know, that mountain area, and Deku was told to train there. And so people would see as blue flames would erupt, chains would appear, and Deku would swing them, cutting piece by piece off the mountain. As he would rip or shred it, but he would run out of energy soon. Since he never really trained using this, so he would not have a massive amount of endurance using it. So, yeah. He'd at least break apart part of the mountain as he would start sweating and it would evaporate as he would overheat. And so, this would just be the training. As normal, they would all do this all the way up to the end, and they would do the whole test your fears or your bravery thing as the villains would attack. As Deku would still be with the Pussycats, and he would be told to go find Coda since he did see him on the other mountain that he's about to train on, as he would see Coda there and he wouldn't. So he would go and he'd see Coda as he's being attacked by Muscular. As Muscular would be hit into the chest with chains, which would Muscular would block with his muscles at the end. And Deku did not only train his blue fire, he trained how hard he could smack somebody with his chains. So like crushing strength, you could say. Where if he were to wrap around his chains around something, like a rock, he could like break it. Where he doesn't have to cut things to pieces, how he does with his blue flames. And so, Deku would get ready for battle. This is where I'm going to end it off. See you guys later.